Welcome to the Money GPS. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. I didn't think we would get here this fast, but anyway, here we are. The first thing I want to look at is beyond belief. We are watching prices skyrocketing today. I'll give you the updates on that. The second thing is the Russian pivot. What has happened ever since you got the sanctions and you've got all of this rhetoric happening, the back and forth activities and the tensions rising high? I'll give you the updates there. The third thing is the ripple effect. If this is happening, what will happen next? I've got all of that and more. Let's begin. Here we have it. World food prices hit a record high in February, led by a surge in vegetable oils and dairy products to post a 20% increase year over year. People can't afford this. What happened the last time food prices rose this high? Anyone remember the Arab Spring? Well, it looks like that Arab Spring could be moving all around the world this time because it's a global phenomenon. You're watching prices rising at a rate people cannot keep up with. And I get it. For a lot of people, no big deal. Okay? They just got less money to spend here or there. But for millions of people in a country alone like the United States, this becomes very detrimental to the average individual because they cannot make ends meet when food and energy and basically everything else are rising faster than they can keep up with. That's the big problem. Okay, looking at this, oil. I mean, you've seen it. I'm sure you know about it already, but it tops $130 a barrel. Wasn't it just yesterday I was talking about $100 a barrel? I mean, what happened here? It's like I went to sleep. I woke up in another universe. At the time of this recording, it's at $126 at least US oil is. Looking at this at this time, I mean, nobody would have thought that we would have seen this jump, but here we are. It's for one reason on top of another, on top of another. It's not just one factor, but certainly we are seeing what's happening with Russia and Ukraine being, front and center. But look at this spike. It is incredible to say the least. Okay, so you could see that there are all kinds of things happening. I would really urge people to understand the depths of this and the ripple effect. It's not so important. Okay, it's $130 a barrel today. It's $100 tomorrow. Look at the ripple effect. We will cover that here. Stick with me and don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Oil buyers racing to replace Russia. Taboo crude are playing record premiums for barrels that can be delivered now rather than later, reflecting worries about adequate near-term fuel supplies and expectations that high prices will reduce consumption and encourage drilling. I'm interested to see what happens. We will talk about that in a second. Actually, I've got something about that, but quote, it's hoarding, according to RBC. People are saying, give me as much as you got. I'll buy as much as I can. This is incredible, to say the least. It's like what was happening in 2020 with pasta and rice. Now it's happening with oil. Just see what is going on in the world today, and it is incredible. Remember, I want to say this right now before I forget. When we see this huge, massive spike in commodities, it's not just that, hey, people are going to make money on the way up. This is going to crush investors and hedge funds and different investment companies of all kinds because of the collateral that they have. Look at what happened in 2020. Look at what happened in 2018. And of course, during the financial crisis timeframe, all of these had a catalyst, an event, like think about the VIX. You never thought that this would create a sort of tumble down in stocks, but it did, and it was only a couple years ago. Well, now it's been probably 4 years ago now. Time flies, but I think people need to be aware how these things can really get hot very fast. US crude tops 130, a 13-year high. The big news, though, is the potential, the possibility of a Western ban of Russian oil. I don't know if that's going to come, and right now that isn't happening. Okay, let's be very clear. But if it did, this would be serious because you're talking about Russia exporting so much and you cut them off. That's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I could tell you, if that does, look out below. Oil is rising on the prospect of a full embargo of Russian oil and products. Already high gasoline prices are going to keep going up in a jarring fashion. Prices in some states will be pushing $5 a barrel, $5 a gallon pretty quickly. So you could see that right now. It looks like very quickly it will surpass its previous high. And I was telling people before that look at what happened with other commodities, and oil, despite its importance, hasn't been able to rise to that same extreme. Quote, we are now talking to our European partners and allies to look into a coordinated way at the prospect of banning an import of Russian oil while making sure that there is still an appropriate supply of oil in the world markets. That is a very active discussion as we speak. You tell me what you think. I don't know how they can get away with it. Anyway, look at what's happening with gold. Incredible. 1979 at the time of this recording. I believe for a moment it did touch over 2,000. So it probably hit off the top and smashed back down. But it's still extremely high. We are right around this range of record highs. Incredible. And you look at silver right now approaching $26. It's just the spike in everything that we've been seeing is incredible. Here you're just seeing the FAO food price index rising to a record high in February. Things like corn and things like wheat especially have risen high, and it's not just in one place. You see right here in China. Commodity prices in China surged to a record. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. Like I said, last time we saw this happen was in 2008, but I want to make something very clear. So while the prices did escalate extremely quickly and aggressively, I should say, in 2007 into 2008, look what happened afterwards. Okay, let's not forget inflation. Okay. Deflation. So if the prices do go as high as they seem to be going, and it doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon, what follows afterwards could be extremely detrimental. So let's take a trip around the desk. I want to bring you into the next level here. We're going to talk about this Russian pivot. We're going to talk about what is happening today. Russian banks rush to switch to Chinese card system. You might be aware of this, Union Pay. Well, apparently several Russian banks said that they would start issuing cards using the Chinese Union Pay card operators system coupled with Russia's own Mir network. What happened? Visa, MasterCard said, you gotta go. So what did Russia do? Did they just say, okay, we're just gonna wait until we could resolve this? No, they said, let's go this way. So they're pivoting east. Russian banks turned to China as Visa and MasterCard cut business. Sberbank is the one that I believe massively, anyway, really big company, and they're going in this direction. So I just wanted to make it clear. It's not these like little tiny banks. It's the big boys. Okay. Germany warns against a ban on energy imports from Russia. Germany saying, no, don't do it. Okay. Because I think I showed you in one of the last videos, it's somewhere between 50 and 60% of that energy coming from Russia. You're going to ban that? What are they going to do? Germany's economy would just tank. It would absolutely tank instantly. So I don't know what they're going to do. But anyway, we will see what happens. I will keep you up to date on all the details. Like I always say, hit that thumbs up button if you want to know about the next video. This is funny because it's Bill Ackman. You remember what he said. Hell is coming, right? You remember that one? Well, in January 2020, I had nightmares about the potential, but everyone seemed to think I was crazy. I am having similar nightmares now. World War III has likely already started, but we have been slow to recognize it. What do you think? Ackman? Is he telling the truth? I think we got to take everything that he says and everybody else says with a grain of salt. You know, next thing you know, in 3 days from now, he's going to be buying equities. We'll see. This is important as well. LMBA asks Russian gold refineries if they have links to sanctioned entities. So when you've got the London Bullion Market Association basically saying, what are your connections? First of all, they should know all those connections already. They shouldn't have to ask them. That's ridiculous. At the same time, note that their connections here, imagine like GLD and these ETFs, they are using indirectly or directly, they're going to be using these Russian gold refiners. So what happens? Oh, suddenly a lot of that is uninvestable. Is that what they're going to do? Really? Is this going to happen? So now suddenly GLD has to sell off a bunch of their gold? I mean, I don't know. I really don't know the depths of all this. Things are happening so fast. But it could start a process. We also have a problem not just with gold, but with other commodities of the rehypothecation. I just butchered the word. Forgive me. What that means is basically they're leasing it out and then just leasing out the same commodity over and over and over again. And that presents a problem for obvious reasons. Elon Musk said, hopefully, it is now extremely obvious that Europe should restart dormant nuclear power stations and increase power output of existing ones. This is critical to national and international security. I think that is very clear that this must be done. They need to start pumping. They need to start getting that energy out there, especially if they intend on cutting off the tap to Russia, which again, not sure they can successfully do that. Unless, I'll just interject it here. We're about 10, 12 minutes into the story. I'll tell you because you're here. You think it could be all intentional? Oh, I didn't go there. Okay. Foreign Russian bondholders still haven't received a March 2nd coupon. So we're going to see they made their payments to the local investors, but what's going to happen with the foreign investors? This is not good. Embargo of Russian oil now spreading to Kazakhstan. So basically they share some of the pipelines and where it's coming through. And now because of that, oh, we can't do business with Russia. Kazakhstan is feeling the pain. So there is part of that ripple effect. Okay. This is just, the same thing with that information there. Ban on Russian oil. They want to backfill Poland with US fighter jets so it could send Soviet-era planes to Ukraine, and evidence collection for a declaration of war crimes against Russia. This is all happening right now. I don't necessarily agree with any of this. I'm just letting you know the way that this is being presented in the media, from the politicians, and so on. They're trying to tell us one way, the official story, and that's it. Now, you stayed until the end. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to show you a map. What can you do as an individual? Those people who already left, they're not going to get this information. I think the most important, most prudent thing that we can do today is to get smart, to get wise, to become intelligent. And what can we do right now that is going to serve us today and serve us, our future generations? And that is to get some land. I've been talking about land basically since the beginning of this channel. I've talked about it in my book. I talked about it everywhere. What are some of the tips that I can give? So let's just take the example of Toronto, okay? Major city, millions of people live in here. You go around and you see that you go left, you go right, east, north, west. It's all populated, okay? You got a land mass here, but also you do have water. Now you go across the water here and off to the west, that's lakes. You cross there, you're going into the border. I would not want to be anywhere near the US border if I was on the other side of it, okay? And probably even vice versa. You don't want to be near the borders in case there's chaos, okay? Because that chaos is coming right over the border. Like, look at Detroit. Just take that as a simple example. If you are in this place here, what do you think is going to happen if Detroit starts dealing with an issue? You don't think Windsor is going to feel it if Detroit's having a problem? Yeah, they're going to try to get over that border as fast as they possibly can. Okay, it depends if there's lockdowns. Looking at this, I would want to be way, way out. Now, so we're cottage, just to show you this, cottage country where people feel it's less populated and safer and so on. So this is Toronto. This is the area, heavily populated, definitely a dangerous place to be when there's chaos. This area up here, all up in here, if you could see where my mouse is, that is the cottage country. Of course, there's more areas, but anyway, this is typical cottage country. So you're looking at about 2 hours north of the city. That's not good enough, in my opinion. Where do you want to be? You want to be where it's sparsely populated. You want to be way out. So my friends, do I have any friends from Sudbury, Timmins specifically? Look at this. This is Hudson Bay. You want to be closer to these areas where you're talking about like the areas are named Moose. Okay, if you don't have an area named Moose or Polar Bear, you're not far enough. All right, guys. I'm joking, but I'm kind of serious actually. You don't want to necessarily live there, but you want to have a place there. Why? Number one, this asset, and I'll call it an asset, make sure it's arable land. Make sure you could put something in the ground and it will grow. You don't want to be in the ice. Okay, so got to be able to put something in the ground and it'll grow. What about this area? Small city like Timmins. You go outside the city of Timmins. Timmins has your facilities that you need, your supermarkets. It's got your, your hospitals and so on. But you go outside of that. And by the way, airports too. You go outside of that. Oh, okay. Now we got some good stuff. I'm not vouching for Timmins. I'm just saying. But I want to know, actually, if you're from Timmins and Sudbury or any place like this, let me know. I'm actually interested in finding this out. You go there. You've got spring water nearby. You look for a spring. That's good. I've got that. And anyway, the point is that you have all these preparations being made. Everything is there. Everything is all good. If the stuff hits the fan, you move. That's it, okay? This is like 1/10 the price of what you would buy a home in the big city for. Use this, extrapolate it to your own areas because, look, let's be honest. A lot of the people, they have to live near the core. They got to live near the cities where, in fact, that's where the jobs are. But you can have a plan B. You can have that right now, today. Okay, I'm going to end the video there. If you found this informative, you like what I did here, just give me that thumbs up. I do appreciate it very much. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.